I haven't seen my kids in 10 years. I don't think they'll remember what I look like. And to be honest, I don't even think I remember what they look like as well if I see them, I mean, I'm quite busy. I'm very busy. Life is short. I have to focus on my career. I have to enjoy my life. At the end of the day, who needs kids to bog them down anyways? If my kids want me in their life, they'll find me at some point in the future. They'll find me. They'll locate me wherever. It's your girl Toyin here. I'm back, and today I didn't come alone. I came with amazing people. We are going to be talking about the topic: is it okay for an absentee parent to claim rights to a child later in life? And discussing with me I'm going to introduce my guests now. They're amazing people. We have Rose. Say hello, Rose.
Hi, hello.
And then we have Elsie.
Hello.
We have Alan. He calls himself Shugs the iPad.
What's poppin', y'all?
And then we have IDJ. Okay, he just wants to wave. All right. So our other guests will be joining us anytime from now, and I'll introduce them when I get there. All right. So today's topic that we're going to be deliberating on is, like I said, is it okay for an absentee parent to suddenly, show up again in the life of a child after so many years away? I'm going to try and lay a few groundwork. There's some things I need to read out for you guys. There is this report that was made by Relationship Foundation, and it actually says that the cost of family failure to the taxpayer is more than the cost of defense to the taxpayer, which is really absurd. So the economic impact of family breakdown, according to this report in 2016, was put at 48 billion. Yeah, and this broken down comes to £1,820 per taxpayer. That is a lot. So it tells us something, that family units breaking up helps no one. It doesn't help the family themselves, and it doesn't help the economy in any way, all right? So this is from gov.uk, and it's about parental responsibilities. And the reason why I'm bringing up parental responsibilities now is because the topic we're talking about, we cannot discuss it in isolation without actually talking about parental responsibility, all right? So it says, all mothers and most fathers, note, all mothers and most fathers, not all fathers, all right? So all mothers and most fathers have legal rights and responsibilities as a parent, known as parental responsibility. If you have parental responsibility, your most important roles are to provide a home for the child, protect and maintain the child. You're also responsible for disciplining the child, choosing and providing for the child's education, agreeing to the child's medical treatment, naming the child and agreeing to any change of name, looking after the child's property. And it also says, parents have to ensure that their child is supported financially, whether they have parental responsibility or not, all right? It says some other things that I will come back to later on, right? So at the beginning, when I was giving the intro, I did talk about not seeing my child for 10 years. That wasn't about me. That was just like a general statement about parents who go away for years without having any sort of contact. So whether it's that they exclude themselves from the family unit because of their own selfish reasons, or maybe it's the other parent that's denying them access to their child. But the point is, this parent hasn't seen their child for so long. But in particular, the example I gave and what actually led to this topic, or led to me wanting to have a discussion about this topic, is because in the past few years, I've come across a lot of men, and I would say, I hope I don't offend anyone by saying this, I would say they are Nigerian men, okay? All of them, not even one single one is not a Nigerian man. And I've come across them. They don't even know each other. It's not like they're from the same family or they're friends or whatever. These are men that I have encountered at different times in life. And one thing that they keep saying about not having contact with their children is they say things like, I've not seen my child or my children because the mother doesn't let me see him or doesn't let me see her. But I can't be bothered. The child will find me when they grow up. You cannot say, I don't think you should say that about your child. If that child is really your child and shares the same blood as you should fight for them. That's what I think. Okay, but that's all for debate. And some of these other men will say things like, it's not like the mother or it's not like the mother is stopping me from seeing the child. It's just that I have a life to live. You know, I can't let kids bog me down. So this is what I want us to talk about today. Do you think it's right for these sort of parents to later claim rights to a child later in life, considering the fact that I've already read out what parental responsibility means? You have to have responsibility for that child, their welfare, you know, the decisions around the upbringing of that child, everything, you know, financially, emotionally, you have to be there for that child. You have parental responsibility to that child. So how is it that you're away for so many years and then you think all of a sudden, yeah, this child will find me? Why are you entitled to that? So who's gonna go first? I think Elsie. Elsie, what are you thinking? You need to unmute yourself.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm actually a single parent, so
Okay.
the father's not Nigerian. Close to, but yeah.
Thank you.
You Nigerian men scared me from a long time, and then I went somewhere else, and it anyway.
Thank you.
From my perspective, from what I'm going through, my
Welcome, James. Sorry to cut you short.
That's okay.
Welcome, James. James.
You know,
He's checking himself out first. Let him finish. Let him finish checking himself out, yeah?
Can you hear us now, James?
Yes, I'm in. I can hear you.
Thank God. Welcome to our miss.
Sorry for my lateness. My apology.
It's all right. It's all right. Elsie is about to respond. Thank you.
I'm listening. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi. So in my experience, I'm a single parent. So I've got an absent father who has been absent since she was 2 and she's now 7. For me personally, I think there's some factors that come into play because I've never been the one to keep him away. It was a conscious decision on his part to stay away. And like you said, you gave the example of the fathers that will say, oh, when they're older, they'll come and find me. That was the same mentality he had. And for me, I just think it's a cop-out. It's a big cop-out because if I had that same mentality to do so, where would my child be right now?
Yeah.
You know, but going back to what you were saying in reference to, should they have rights? If he's actively tried to make an effort to be part of that child's life throughout the years, however inconsistent it has been, but he's physically been there or physically shown his face or his presence has been there, evident, then I would say yes to a certain degree. But I think in my circumstance, I don't get any financial contribution. I don't get anything. So if he was to come back later, it will be determined on my daughter's her take on it. Basically, it's her decision.
Yeah.
I'm not going to influence her.
Yeah.
One thing I've never done is badmouthed him in front of her because I want her to have an objective opinion. When she does finally meet him or they come into contact, it's her choice, it's her decision to maintain that relationship. I'm not going to discourage her. I'm not going to tell her because it's difficult trying to explain to her why he's not around. I can't even explain that because I don't even know.
Yeah.
So it's a way of how do I balance this, but without seeming vindictive, like I'm trying to steer her away and tell her that he is. I haven't done that. But if it was down to me, I believe he should not have anything to do with her later on, right? It's not down to me. It's not down to me. So
and that just shows that you have a big heart, because a lot of women, even if things never really went all right between them and the man, they would just make it so hard for the man to have access to the child. It doesn't matter even if he's paying child support. I know men that are paying child support, they've never missed one payment and they haven't seen their kids in years because the other parent doesn't let them, you know. And oh, are you one of them?
Yes,
Alan.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So it's what do you? I mean, what do you? Are you done, Elsie?
no, well, no, continue.
Sorry, I caught you short.
It's
Yeah.
fine.
If you still have anything to say, carry on.
No, I was just gonna say that for me, I actually wasn't the one who he took me to court. I never took him to court, and at the end of the court proceedings, he withdrew his application and then disappeared. And I was like,
Really?
what was all this? Why the whole process and the whole pageantry? But you really didn't actually want to be responsible. You didn't want to commit. You didn't want that responsibility. And maybe I'm stubborn. I haven't done the whole CSA. People have been saying, "Oh, you should do CSA. Go and get money from him." You know what? God has provided for the two of us. I thank God for that. And I'm just gonna keep on raising her the best way I can.
Yeah.
That's my stance anyway.
Yeah. So, Rose, what do you think?
I myself, when I was growing up, my dad was never there. I didn't even know what the dude looked like until I was quite grown up. Because again, I think society and the kind of family each of the paternal or maternal part has got a key role to play in the outcome of it. My dad got my mom pregnant, disappeared because my granddad didn't want him around. So my mom brought me up. And again, like Elsie said, rightfully, when I got to a particular age, I went looking. Personally, I think they do have a right to certain degrees, especially thinking about from the African culture. Africa is the man, no matter whether he's there or not. When he comes knocking, everything else has got to stop. And I think that was the kind of a situation. Come down to mine, I'm a single parent and my daughter's dad is nearby. However, majority of the thing I did it myself. And I remember when she was growing up, when I asked for anything, because she's a daughter, the daughter was insignificant with the African old school mentality. Not these days anymore. I must state that explicitly clear. We had this mentality that a girl wasn't worth you putting any effort into it. But a lot has changed. And over time, I mean, the girl did so great, was getting A's and becoming head girls and stuff. And suddenly, daddy wants to be involved.
Daddy wants to slice the cake.
It is tricky. And Elsie rightly says, some of us women make it difficult for the men to be involved, I must say, because I have got friends and we take our personal issues and put the child in the middle of it, which it was me and you that didn't work, not you and the child. And that's exactly this topic I said to my ex. I said, look, you pay child support or not, I really don't care. Initial agreement was we'll go 50-50 to bring up the child. But my dude refused to pay anything, which was fine. And, and I did say to him, it's me and you that did not work. The child has got nothing to do with this. I do not want my child being involved. Because me growing up from a family where my father wasn't there, I felt empty. You may have all the financial support, you may have all your maternal support and everything there, but missing that dude they call daddy, father, you feel the gap. I was scared when I get married, who's going to get the bride price? Who is going to stand up and fight for me? Who's going to defend me and all of that? And if it was a male child, the male child will also be thinking, who am I going to act like? Who am I? How am I going to show women how to be treated and stuff? So we women do make it difficult to some extent, but then some extent, the men too can be a pain to work with. You give some the opportunity, they disappear or they take advantage. And some men, I tell you, some men's behavior, it's appalling that you kind of think, the role that, again, this is where the feminist perspective comes in and the gender role and the games or politics get complicated and make life more difficult. So should they have rights? Yes, depending on the situation that has created the issue going on. However, if it's an informed decision for the man to walk away, I don't think they should have that right.
Great. Thanks a lot for that. Before I even move to one of the men, you did say that you felt like you missed out with when it, in the area of the
The
relationship with your dad.
Yeah.
I know a lady, actually not a lady, I know about 3 women who raised all boys. Does that mean that, and I mean, when I said she raised all boys, they're all like well behaved, they're all in excellent careers, engineer, doctor, and I think maybe the other is in IT or something like that. And they look after their mom, they're doing well. So do you think that they might be going through the same thing, irrespective of how nice their lives may look to us on the outside? Do you think they might be feeling the same thing that you felt when you were growing up?
Absolutely, because when the gap is there, the gap is there. You may have somebody else in the house, but again, they say blood is thicker than water. You will still want that family belonging. Where does my family? I mean, I grew up in Calabar, which is my mom's side. My father's side is a.
Can you hear us, Rose?
Can you hear me?
You might need.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you now, but you might need to go back.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah, you might need to go
when you
where you
mentioned
started
when you mentioned Akwa Ibom, I think the whole net was
Akwa
filled.
Ibom. I think Akwa Ibom does not want to be mentioned. Yeah, but anyways, you might have to go back to where you started talking about Akwa Ibom, because that's when we lost you.
Yeah, we lost you there.
Tyler, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
It's still glitching, but yeah.
Yeah, my mom's side is Calabar and my dad's side is Akwa Ibom. And I didn't know, I know the village name. I didn't know anybody there. I have this massive family in Calabar. If I go now, Calabar is my home. But I missed that root. I missed that father. I want to see where I belong to. And when I went searching, I didn't know where I was going. And God has a way of making things work. I just got in one day. I spoke to somebody. I said, look, I'm trying to find this man, because my mom was kind enough to tell me his name and everything. I didn't know I had brothers and sisters because my mom had only me. And again, being an only child, you kind of miss that, belonging. And you have the cousins, you have the aunties, they do everything. But deep down inside you, psychologically, you're still having that gap in you. And when I went searching, just like that, I saw my stepmom. Just like that, I realized I have 3 younger brothers, or brother, and 3 other sisters. And
really,
he was poor, but I felt I was home. You know, the way I was welcome, I felt fulfilled. And he had issues, but he was my dad. He wasn't perfect, but he was my dad. And we were able, the short time he lived, we were able to build that relationship. And now I can actually stand and say, yes, I know where my father home is, and I know where my mother home is. And it makes me feel really comfortable and very contented,
Okay. Thanks a lot, Rose. IDG, what do you think about this topic we're deliberating today? What do you think so far? What's your opinion on this?
Yes, I first of all was to say thank you to Elsie and Rose for their account, and I want to say that, to be honest with you, I'm deeply touched by your personal stories. I hope nobody will be offended on this platform, because I see things from 2 perspectives. Number one, I always address things from what is the God's value for us. And then I look at what the Lord says. Because for me, I think it is imperative for us to look at, because this is what I believe. I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody here. When you look at it, the scriptural provision for all of us as men or as parents is that we should be there for our children.
Yes.
It is that's the scriptural provision. If you read Psalm 127 from the beginning to the end, he said, children are the heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is a reward. He said, except the Lord build the house. That's the first aspect of it. Let us first of all build the foundation of our home on God. And our God is love. When you look at two key things that God says in his word, he said, our God is love. He said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And then the second aspect of it says, love your neighbor like yourself. Now, when you look at it, the key aspect, if love is involved, you understand, love will overshadow the inadequacies of other people. You will not see what your partner is doing that is wrong. Maybe you see that is wrong, you correct that person, and the person, if the person loves you too, will yield to that correction. I was brought up in a family-oriented, my dad was a teacher of blessed memory. My mom still alive, a teacher as well. So I know what it takes. And my dad has always been there for me. In fact, I wouldn't have attained, if not for God and my dad, because of the way he disciplined us and he mentored us when we were younger. I don't think I would have attained this stratum of education today, but to the glory of God. So what I'm saying in essence is that we are tasked by God to, first of all, love the God that makes us and love our fellow human being. And when we are now going back to the family orientation, when you look at it, Ephesians chapter 5 from verse 21 to about 30 in the scriptures made it clear the responsibility of a father in the house, the responsibility of a mother. He said, husband, love your wife. He said, love your wife. He said, as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for the church, he said, so husband should love their wife. He said, wife, submit to your husband. You see, those are two key things. If you love a woman, that woman will submit. We give everything to you. It is a natural, it's no two ways about it. If you genuinely love a woman and you are dealing with that woman openly, you are open with everything and honest with everything that you are doing, you will reap the outcome of that woman dealing with you openly and trustworthy.
Sorry to cut you short, but that is the ideal situation, but that's not the reality. The reality is family units do break down whether we want it to or not, whether we like it. It's been happening before we were born, it's happening now, and it will keep happening when we are gone.
It will keep
happening. I'm sorry to say, this also happened. You're bringing it from the religious perspective, which I respect, and you know, absolutely. Yeah. However, within that same church, there is a whole lot of abuse going on within that relationship that is not allowing the wife to be submissive. And again, we are talking about submissiveness. This submissiveness is subjective. Yeah. In the sense that an African man's submissiveness in those days is not the submissiveness that is available now. Because again, we look at the role responsibility. The role has changed. Those days, the woman will go out, the man will go out work, bring in the bacon home, the woman stays at home and deal with everything. Now, the man expects the woman to go and bring it home, take care of him, be submissive, and look after the children. How would you get submissiveness from that?
To have it all in it.
I think I was cut short before I finished my conversation, because I think we need to really get to where I'm going properly, because this is the thing that works for me, it works for my family, and it works for people that have cancer. When I'm talking about, because I've lived in this country, I know the definition of what submissiveness is all about. When you are talking about submissiveness in terms of African, I mean, the way, the perspective of the world, you are talking about, okay, look, I'm controlling you, you have to do this. No, that is not that. Even scripturally, even when I teach people the Sunday school and the rest of it, that's not what we say. You see, and that is why I quoted that scripture for us to understand it. Because for you, he said, love your wife as Christ gave himself up for the church. He said, so also husbands should love their wife. If you can give yourself up for your wife. I came here as a student, and my wife came here as a student dependent. I was going to school that time. My wife was working full time. Before she comes back, I would have cooked down. I take care of my daughter and my son. They are at home now. I take them to school. I pick them up. You see, we need to see from the example. I'm not saying that, look, the wife should go and work and then come back, still be responsible to cook. And where's the money? The money at the end of the month, the woman is taking the bulk of it. It should be a balanced responsibility. The relationship that we are keeping both here and in Africa should be a balanced one. You understand? What is
Where does the
I understand what you're saying, but the discussion today is not really about the
marriage,
Can I quickly say something?
Please.
Yes, please.
Yeah, please, can we stick to the topic of the discussion?
Yeah.
That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah, it's really very easy for us. I'm a Christian as well. I went to Christianity.
Absolutely.
In fact, I'm from a pastoral family, but what I'm trying to say is that we are trying to discuss or address issues that have already happened.
Yes.
A marriage has broken up or relationship has broken up.
Absolutely.
One single. So don't let us, foundation is good. That what really causes. But what we are discussing today is not what caused the breakup or what caused single parenthood. No, that's not what we are discussing. What we are discussing is that the absent father or mother, they have access or whatever to the children in later life. Is that not the topic?
Yes.
If we limit ourselves to that, we'll be objective. Because the issue of relationship and marriage, as is written in the Bible, because look, if you can interpret the Bible one way, other people will come and interpret it the other way. Other people will come and interpret it.
Absolutely.
So let's leave that to personal thing. But the day we are discussing what's wrong with marriage, we can bring all this thing in from a religious angle. I'm a Christian. I'm not against what you are saying, my brother, but I'm just saying that let's stick to the topic. And let me just quickly chip in what I really intend to say. Number one is that if we are saying is it good for the absent father or mother to come in later, whose interest is that going to serve? Because the victim here, always they are the children. Because if the family break up, the ideal situation is for the mother and father to be together and bring up the children. But you cannot force things on people. You cannot force an ideal situation on anybody.
Yeah.
Because we are living in a world that is not perfect. In a world that is perfect, husband and wife will live together. The man will love the wife will submit. But look, man also asks for submission. And they don't show love. Yeah, because I have a daughter as well. Yeah. So I will balance it. I have a son, I have a boy and a girl. So I will balance it. African men, it will ask for submission at all costs. Especially when the wife is the one that has upper hand financially. Then there'll be problem because she's this one, she doesn't submit anymore. But I think we should leave that for today. The discussion is that, is it good for the absent father or mother to come back and want to have some say in the life of the children they've abandoned in the past? I think what will determine that is the present situation and reality. Because when a relationship break up, in fact, sometimes there's no relationship at all. Yes. Somebody just get pregnant for somebody and the baby comes in. And one of the parties just decided to go away and say, you know what? I didn't ask you to get pregnant. Well, that happens a lot. So when the person that abandoned the family, the relationship, when they abandon it at the initial stage, and these people struggle to bring each other up and establish themselves in life, they want to come back. I think the person that should decide if you have the right to come back should be the victim in the first instance. To me, because they are the one that pass through a lot when you are absent. Because sometimes mother even abandon family, not the fathers alone. Mothers sometimes they do abandon. I've seen that before in Nigeria and Lagos and in London. That when the wife run away with the friend of the husband that was very rich then.
I've heard of women leaving behind their 3-month-old baby. I don't know how. I don't understand it.
Yeah, but now at later stage, the rich guy abandoned her and she wanted to come back to the marriage she abandoned as well. So it happens to both sides. But what I just observe is that, I mean, mostly it happened to men. That's why I can say, I don't know if I'm wrong. I've got no data.
No, you are right. You are right.
Yeah, but mostly we mostly have absent fathers. Although we do have occasionally absent mothers. So now, if you now want to come back, after you have absconded or abandoned your responsibility, it might be your fault or it might not be your fault. We don't know, because some relationship is not even possible for the party to stay together for the sake of the children they are trying to protect. Let's be realistic. Because when there's violence, when there's noise, when there's shouting, when there's all the time fighting, I mean, and the kids growing up in such relationships, interest or interest, the interest of that kid is not well served. So it's better they maintain distance so that the kid can grow up in a harmonious relationship. Good. That's not what God wants, because I must really agree with my brother. I was quoting the Bible. What God wants, is an ideal situation. But sometimes there's a perfect will and there's a permissive will. Because this is what God have original plan of God, is that the man and woman stay together and raise a family. But what can we do? You can't force this thing on anybody. In fact, some children come to this world without father or mother, because some people even went to nightclub and after one night stand they got even recognize the father. A lot of things happen. I've seen a lot. Well,
and the sperm bank to get the sperm and get pregnant as well. So hey.
But what I always say is that whose interest is well served if the absent father or mother want to come back? Whose interest? Because some people are so selfish. They think about themselves alone. I'm the father. Now is my daughter getting married. Who are you? No, you've been absent for how many years? You want to now just force your way in? No. Whose interest is served? I think we should look at this issue from that angle. Whose interest if you come back? Is it your own selfish interest, or it will help the children you've abandoned for many years? We don't know. So if you look at the issue in that from that angle, that will really give us a correct answer that, okay, you can come in, can come back to the life of the family or the life of the children. In fact, some family have moved away for about 1,000 miles away. Then you want to come here. How will you catch up? I'm sorry, because like you abandoned wife with 2 children. The wife got married to somebody else who is not the biological father and played the role of a good father to the kids. The children have always known this guy to be their dad. They've never seen you in their life. But all of a sudden you appear and you want to now, I mean, I don't want to divorce some situation. And they will not come in and say,
don't start spilling the beans.
You want to marry my daughter? You must do this. They'll be asking for 10 million naira. Come on, where have you been? So it happens a lot, especially to we African men. Let me be objective. Some women will do that, but the statistics, I think, it's on the higher for men. On the high for men.
I'm happy. I'm quite glad that you're very balanced in this, and you're very.
I'm balanced in it. I'm trying to balance. I'm trying. I can't be perfect, but
and you're actually stating the fact. You're not saying because you're a man.
What will determine the mother, the absent mother or absent father coming back is the interest of who's going to be served. Is it the family you have abandoned for so long? Do they want you back? If they want you back, well, some people are so forgiving. According to my brother's spiritual God, we should forgive as well. But some people say, you know what, if he comes back, he's coming with trouble again, because he knows that he's been alone, maybe he's been enjoying life. Now the thing have turned upside down for him. So want to come back now and enjoy the cake for the second time? No. Let's be careful here and don't let us become judgmental. That way,
thank you.
Have been forgiven for the sake of the children. Let's be very careful. So whose interest? That's my own question. The answer to the question will give the solution to all this topic. That whose interest is going to be served? Thanks so much.
Thank you very much for your views, James. That was very insightful. We haven't heard from you, Alan.
Okay.
I know you have a lot to say.
I got a lot. To say. I've experienced everything everyone is talking about. So let me start from the first part. So I got married, but like the pastor over there was.
Can I just say before you continue, it's up to you if you want to tell us your personal experiences.
I'm saying the whole thing. I'm saying it.
He's giving us all the receipts. Okay,
he's not holding back. He's not keeping it back. Let it out. This is therapy.
Okay.
Exactly. It's very it's therapy to me. And so basically, I got married without doing the right things. For example, like courting the woman, getting to know her and all that. I just decided one day, a lot of my buddies were doing their masters. They were doing a lot of stuff, building houses and all that. And I was like, I wasn't doing anything. what I'm gonna do, I gotta do something since everyone is doing something. So I said, oh, why don't I get married? And I put it out there, and someone said, oh, I know someone, you probably would like her and all that. And then we met up. In the space of 2 months, I already told my dad I want to get married. They were like, we don't know you with any woman. How can you want to get married? So anyway, it happened, and I got married a year after when I met her, without, courting her and getting to know her well. So obviously the whole thing did not go well. Right from the time I met her, she was a bit violent. She still throw tantrums, like she could just fall on the floor and start acting weird like that.
That's rather
so my brother,
dramatic.
yep, my brother witnessed it once and said, "What are you doing with this kind of woman? What you want from this kind of woman? You need to walk away." And because I was very naive, very, very naive. I never used to speak to women and all that until I was almost 30. So anyway, so we got married, and it was really violent right from the very beginning. I could be on the phone chatting with you guys now, and she would just come and slap me from the back.
Wow.
Yeah, she would say probably because she saw females on there. But there are guys also here. We're having a conversation. So she come up with any kind of stuff, and she just hit me. If I bought her a cell phone. She went to work and came back and said, "This cell phone you bought me is not as good as the one my friends have got."
Wow.
She threw it right at me, right on my head. I was bleeding.
Wow.
I'm like, what the hell? Yeah. I got married to this woman. We didn't have kids. We didn't have kids for 3 years. So she used to call me impotent. She said I was an impotent bastard. Yeah.
Wow.
No, it was really bad. She used to call me, say I was an impotent bastard. That was the name she called me. And I said, that's not possible. My daddy's got 7 kids. So there's no way I ain't got that energy to give you a baby, you know what I'm saying? So she goes to her family doctor and tells the guy and says, yeah, we haven't got kids, we're having problems and all that. So I go to see her doctor. We had a meeting. I go to see a doctor. So the doctor was like, how many times do you guys have sex? So I was like, twice. He said, twice?
In a day?
A day. He said twice a day is not good. He said twice a day is fair enough. It's fair enough. I'm like, sir, twice a month. He said twice a month. And you wonder why you ain't got a baby. Can you both leave my office? So we laughed. Yeah, because you know what she does? If I want to touch her, she's my wife. I'm married to this woman. She would like that. She would tighten up. Don't touch me and all that. And she's wondering why we ain't got kids.
Wow.
So after all that happened, I just decided one day, I'm done. I'm out of here.
So did you guys have kids eventually?
Yeah, I'm getting there. The story's still coming. So I said I'm done. And then I left her. We were in Lagos. Then I came to London, and then she now flies over. Then she flies over, and 2 weeks later, after I'd left her, and then she flies over. She was ill. Took her to the hospital, and then we found out she was pregnant. So I said, okay, I'm gonna give it another shot. Got back together again, waited, we had the baby, a boy, I named him Alan also. And then next thing, the violence kept, it was always there. People were saying it was postnatal
depression,
stress and this and all that. I'm like, no. When she didn't have no baby, she was doing the same thing. Yeah, so now we had the baby 6 months. When it was 6 months, I just decided, it's not working. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes she'll come, knock my knees up with a hammer, and then I end up not going to work.
Wow.
This guy she would beat me up. And I'll still dress up with my suit and tie and still go out. I'm telling you, because I smile a lot, nobody knew what was happening.
Wow.
Yeah, nobody knew what was happening, and I'm smiling every single time. In the marriage, everything was messed up, and nobody knew. Can you imagine? I didn't even look at any other woman, not because I couldn't, because I was married. So I just stuck to this woman. And then I just made up my mind. I used to sleep with a knife under my pillow.
Wow.
Can you imagine that? No, it was really bad. It was so bad. And then, so she now left. I'm like, just go. So I put my son over here with my sister in Manchester because I was in London. I said,
So
okay.
she left you with the child?
No. She went back to Nigeria because I said, I'm staying here. I'm not going back with you because this cannot work. So I put my son in Manchester to go to school. And then 6 months later, she comes back and says, no, she wants my son back and all that. And then she now takes him. And then I'll move back to America. Then, because like I said, I was really naive and that's what messed me up. I didn't used to chat with a lot of women. So anytime she comes to London, we got together. And then we had the second child, even though we were not living together. See what I'm saying? And my parents were like, the second son, and it was a boy again, that's not your kid. So my parents, I don't know if they made it worse by saying that, but then her family now had major beef with us. Then she comes and takes both boys. She disappears. She was living in my family house.
Kids at all?
Just watch and see. So she
help us to compress the story.
Yeah. I'm going to compress it now. So now she takes the 2 kids to America. They were living with my family, and then one day she just disappears. But we've tried to investigate, and I think she's in Canada right now. Now my first son was 3, and then my second son was 4. I only saw him for 24 hours.
Wow.
So that's the last time I saw him. Now the first one is 15, and that second one is going to be 13. I've made every single move to get in touch with them. We've tried everything. Well, if we find a number, they would disconnect that number.
Wow.
So would you say I'm an absentee father? I'm looking for him. I don't believe in that stuff that they got to look. I've been looking for him. We can't find them anywhere, but they're there in Canada. People know where they are, but once they know, she just blocked the number. She just cut off connection and all that.
Wow. So does no one know their address?
When we get the address and all that, and somebody tries to get close, they just move.
But that's the thing. It doesn't take when you say they just move, they can't just move in a second. It will take time, even if it's 24 hours, 2 days. And there's a lot of things that you can do to pin them down within that 24.
Legal action.
Exactly.
Yeah, but then again, the country is different. The legal aspect of it will be completely different. And considering we're saying it's an approach to handle, but it will not be, because Alan on his own has got his own process of healing to go through, because any woman do that to my brother, well, good luck to you. So he's gonna deal with that. And again, if you were together, that happened, it's about trying not to go and show your children what she may have been telling them that is wrong. They are boys as well, because you may go there and want to get behave in a different way because you want access to your children, but she can turn that against you. You could get arrested, you could go to prison and all of those things. So it's about being a gentleman from his perspective. And my answer to you, you are entitled to them, and trust me, they will come looking for you when the time is right. You just keep doing
after
what
your
you're
story,
doing.
I now believe that after your story, but
But then again, we cannot always say they will come. You just need to keep fighting as well. We can't always just say they will come.
Absolutely.
There are children that would not go after their parents because of what the other parent has fed them over the years. And they just don't want to know. They don't want to know. So you need to keep doing what you need to do.
And then also,
excuse me, I think what can help you here, guy, is that the children were born here in the UK.
No, in America.
The 2 of them, were they born in UK?
America.
No.
They were born in America.
Yeah.
Well, it depends. If they were born in UK, you can make a report here that you have 2 kids, but the mother has disappeared with them. You can make a report. So do give all the details. They can be arrested when they want to enter UK, but if they were not born here, I don't know the law in America. But if they were born here, yeah, fine. You can make a report to the police. and you can get a passport that anytime they want to enter UK, they can just stop them.
I don't even think she will bring them to the UK because she's trying to get away from him. So I don't think she would risk being spotted by coming to the UK.
Well, you don't
and change their names, change their passports, and all of those things. So women, we can't be mean sometimes. I'm sorry, we can be very, very mean sometimes.
No. She was so mean. She did all that to me, but then I'm the one suffering at the end. And I love kids so much, but you can imagine the kind of stories she's putting out there. I love kids so much, so it really affected me badly. You know, sometimes like if you talk about kids, I'll just break down. So for a while, I just left it. You know, we tried to get in touch. They keep blocking it up. I just left it, and I was like, no, I just leave it. You know, I gotta have this. I gotta have my mentor with me.
Yeah.
Or imagine if I didn't have my mentor with me, and then they come looking for me, and I'm just a vegetable in the chair looking at them like, who are you?
Absolutely.
So I'm keeping my mental right. I'm just staying off from that right now.
I think that's a good thing. You need to be mentally stable yourself. This is a lot for someone to go through. I mean, when it comes to violence, domestic violence, I think we would be deluding ourselves to say that it only comes from men. Women also.
Absolutely.
A lot of people didn't know that. A lot of people didn't know that. I was just fortunate. There was a forum that came up on Facebook ages ago, and this guy was just pouring out how his wife used to beat him up. And everyone was like, really, really? And there was no one to support him because he was the only one saying it. When I told my story, people just can't believe it because this dude is always smiling, he's always, you know, suited up and all that. And someone was beating you up. I'm telling you, women are so powerful. I'm way bigger than this woman.
Well, yeah, I agree.
No, women are powerful. If I saw a man that could beat me up, I wouldn't even throw a punch at him. A woman will slap Goliath. You know what I'm saying? Women ain't scared of nothing.
All right. Can I just say something at this point, based on what we've all been talking about, especially with your experience, Alan? Do we agree with the fact that I don't know if I think it's everywhere in the world anyway, but especially here in the UK, do we agree with the fact that once a child is born, whether the mom is married or she's not married, she has automatic parental responsibility for that child? But if it's a man, your parental responsibility is only automatic when you're married. If you're not married to the mother of that child, you don't have automatic parental responsibility. So based on the experiences that you have, maybe she's able to do all of that because of this automatic parental responsibility that she has. What do you think, Elsie?
I was going to say, automatic parental responsibility comes when the name's on the birth certificate.
Sorry, when what?
When the name is on the birth certificate.
Yeah, that's for the man. That's for the man. Yes, he will get it when the name is on the certificate.
Okay, you're speaking from the female perspective.
Yes. Okay. So do you think it's right for the woman to be the one with automatic parental responsibility?
No, I don't believe. I don't believe so, because it's the same way. If I put a coin in a vending machine to get a Coca-Cola, who owns the Coca-Cola? Is it the vending machine or me?
Well, at the end of the day, if you look at it this way, the woman carried that child for 9 months. All right, you only just provided just a tiny sperm like this.
I'm gonna be the devil's advocate. The man carries the sperm over the years to give to the woman, though, doesn't he?
Thank you, ma'am. Do you know the speed at which the sperm travels? You gotta have the right sperm to put that baby in there. Not every man can put a baby in a woman.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He carries that child for 9 months. So I think I see where that law is coming from.
That's where the law comes from.
I think
the biological aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because technically,
carrying, yes, but then where does the secure attachment comes in? Because a mother, you may carry that child for 9 months. When that child comes in, there is no secure attachment. And that child, maybe you know, some parents have given birth, a woman have given birth and not wants the baby, and the men take after the baby and look after the baby.
Yeah, but that's in the minority of cases. In the majority of cases, let's just be factual here. In the majority of cases, the women tend to have that bond with the child. They've carried the child for 9 months.
Not necessarily have the bond.
Only 9 months. They only carried the child for only 9 months.
Yeah, she carries him for not just 9 months. She then tend to that child for the next 4 years. Some women breastfeed their child for 4 years. They give up their careers for however many years to raise a child while the man is able to go off and do his own thing. So
not necessarily, Tony. I would disagree with you on that one. I'm a woman, sister.
I think I love Rose already.
Look. Okay. I'm not against men. I'm just talking about the topic of a woman, a mother of a child having automatic parental responsibility from birth. That's what I'm trying to justify. I'm not saying that a woman is automatically a good mother or whatever. That's not what I'm saying.
I have a point to raise here. I think what the law really says, that because when we had our baby, we were in a marriage with my wife. We are still married today, but I wanted to change something because she had a cesarean operation and like she was not that well. So I wanted to go to the the hospital and change something on the record, and they said no, you can't. I said why? I'm the father. They said you are not the next of kin to the children. That is the mother that is the next of kin. Because I think the law in UK says the immediate member of the family to the kids is the mother. The father is not the immediate member of the family. And when you look at it objectively, I'm a man as well. When you look at it, the babies, when they are young, they need the mother more than the dad. Let's say the truth.
This is why I like you. You're very objective.
It's true. It's true.
No. Especially the boys.
Babies.
My daughter, I'm telling you, I've got a daughter now. If you see the way my daughter treats me, I'm telling you, she needs me. My daughter, the kind of love I get from my daughter.
Both parents are needed. But biologically, if you take a child out of a womb and you give it to a man, unless he's got formula milk, he's not feeding that child.
Thank you.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's where the law comes into it.
That's what I'm trying to say.
If the child is not a woman, she has milk production ready for a year.
Thank you.
Okay, let me play the devil's advocate here. So now, considering now that we have got different sexuality in the UK or around the world, who then has the parental responsibility? This is my teacher head here. This is me. Equality here, my teacher head on. In a situation where we've had that, who then is responsible?
Whoever it is that has the female anatomy. That's it.
But then surrogacy, for example.
Whoever has the wound.
Exactly.
Let's think about surrogacy for people with same-sex relationship. The mother has given birth and handed over the child. She has got no parental responsibility because that was a contract that was entered, and that contract ended when that baby comes in. So again, it's got to do with, personally, I agree with you. However, on the other hand, again, it's got to do with attachment with the baby. Who is the one that caters for the baby's need? Because like you said, Tony, I agree. We're not judging a woman to be a bad or good parent, but who takes the responsibility to wake up in the night when that baby is ill? Who takes the responsibility to feed that child and do everything? You know, yes, the law's there, but the law is biased in some ways. In some cases, I love it because it works well for my benefit, but in some ways it can't be unfair, you know? So that's my view.
Just like Elsie said, so if the child needs milk, yes, we can get formula milk. The man can do all of that stuff. But I feel like there's other things that the man can't really do, especially if it's a newborn baby. Right?
Like what?
Can the man, let's even start from before the baby comes out. Can the man actually carry the child for all of those years?
Yeah.
How?
It depends what you're looking at. They carry it in the sperm sac and carry it around everywhere.
Does the child develop in the sperm sac?
If it was not there, was nourishing.
We pray not.
Okay. Let's look at it. I think it is in the interest of the baby. I'm not talking about daughter or son who have grown up. The baby you deliver today, this week, this month, next month, I think that baby will need the mom than the dad. Let's face the reality. I mean,
you know what? I think me and you are going to be best friends, honestly.
Well,
they will need, but not necessarily have, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
What if in a situation where one of the mother passes away?
Exactly.
You are talking about an exceptional situation. I'm talking about
exactly.
But
natural or not natural, it's got to do with the attachment. Wherever, whoever is the primary carer for that child, that is where their attachment is.
I'm with Rose.
That is where the need is.
The immediate attachment, when the baby is delivered, the attachment naturally goes to the mom. Let's say the truth.
It does, but
it's true.
The womb serves as an incubator.
That's true, yeah.
Rose, you have to admit, in 80% of cases, that is what happens. When
yeah.
born,
So that's what the law
especially
will
now,
look like.
coronavirus, where people can't go into the labor room, it's the mother.
It's true.
Yes,
It's the mother.
the law will look at whose interest is served best. Is the baby interest to be with the mom? So I understand the father. I mean, we all have African mentality. We are born, or maybe we grew up with
I'm
African
sorry. Best interest.
Let me finish.
I will challenge you on that one. The Children's Act. Hold up. The Children's Act. Yeah, 1989. Well, hold up. The Children's Act 1989 clearly states that the best interest of the child is with the family. It doesn't necessarily say is with the mom. It's who is going to safeguard that child. That is where the law comes in.
Yeah.
The mother, if the mother's taking drugs, doesn't mean that the best interest of the child is to be with the mother. If the mother is not willing to cater for that baby, look after the baby, safeguard that baby, and protect that baby from harm, doesn't mean the best interest of the child to be is with the mother. Just wise, it doesn't mean it has to be with the father either.
Okay, wait,
so it's about
good.
where is safe. Where does this baby? Where is this baby going to get love? Where is this baby going to get security and that protection to help that baby grow and develop well?
Okay, you are right according to the law you just cited. But what I'm trying to say is that in 90% of the cases, you won't have a new mother being a druggie in 95% of the cases. So don't let us break in
where you're looking.
Situation. Don't let us break in situations that happen really to make it that's the norm. Yeah, we have seen mothers who are druggie, but they are in the minority. The majority of mothers who deliver baby are responsible. I will have to like my babies to be with their mom when they were just born. I don't want them to be with me then, because the mom will do a better job than I can do when they were just delivered, when they were sucklings. They need a breast. They need to suck the natural milk. So then we need all that. I don't want to deprive my baby of that. Because
some women do not breastfeed at all.
Exactly. And the baby still develop fine.
I disagree.
That's the minority.
I did for a year, but again, there are some of us that don't.
Yeah.
That's true.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's not about the breast for the baby all the time. Sometimes even the men,
Another point to this.
So, okay.
Just quickly, because people have children all the time, right? But nobody knows what type of parent they're going to be until that child arrives.
Thank you.
That does play a role in the attachment aspect as well.
That's right.
And if the child is safe in that environment with that parent.
Yeah.
So I'll let me put that in there.
True.
Well done, Elsie.
All right. He's agreeing with you now. Okay.
I'm his favorite, by the way. Just say.
Yeah. Rose, for sure.
I think we know that much for now. Okay, so I want to ask, we've talked about, we keep, especially James, he keeps bringing up in whose interest. Now, I want to, talking about interest, and I know that the Children's Act of 1989 also is all about whatever has to be done has to be based on the interest of the child. And I think any normal person should agree with that statement, to be honest. But what I want to ask what I want to ask is this. If a child has been exposed to domestic violence, for instance, between his or her parents for many years, and maybe after the child, maybe at the age of 5, obviously a 5-year-old remembers things. They can see when mommy and daddy are fighting. So maybe at the age of 5, 6 or whatever, one of the parents leaves the family unit and they don't see the child for years. And obviously this child remembers the details of what daddy and mommy used to be like. Now, daddy or mommy has been away from her or him for 10 years or 5 years or 7 years, however many years. And now he or she wants to have a relationship with that child again. Is it in the child's interest, since we're all concerned about the child's interest, so is it in the child's interest to have that person back? What do you think the state of mind of that child will be if all that they can still remember about this person is the domestic violence that this person meted out to the other parent?
Okay, sorry, Can I just say something?
I think I want us to hear from IDG on this as well. He hasn't spoken
Okay.
for some minutes now.
Okay.
I don't think he's there.
IDG, can you hear us?
Okay,
Yes, I can hear you.
Did you hear my question?
Not really, please. Could you come again with the question?
Okay. So I said we've been talking about whatever parents do needs to be in the interest of the child. Okay. So I'm saying that if the parents of this child were always in an acrimonious relationship and there was so much domestic violence, especially from one parent to the other, and the child experienced all of this, the child was privy to all of the violence that went on in the relationship. And so maybe at the age of 5 or 6, one of the parents decides they want to break up and they leave the family unit for maybe the next 5 or more years. And sometime later on, they decide they want to come back into the life of the child. So taking into consideration that this child can remember vividly what used to happen between the parents, is it in the child's interest for there to be a reconnection between that child and the parent that wants to come back, especially if that parent that left was the one that was delivering the domestic violence?
I think it's subjective. The way we see it is that what has happened in the past has happened in the past, although reflecting on it, we have an impact on the child for the rest of their lifetime. But the issue right now is that we've all had our past. As long as the man can demonstrate that he's a changed creature now, or the party that has been abusing before, and before the man will come back into the house, there would have been an evidence of that. Because it wouldn't be in the child's interest for that man to come back into the house, because whatever children learn by our behavior, by what they see. And if it is the man or the woman that has been that violent within that relationship, it wouldn't be good in the interest of that child for that party to come back if they are still upholding such an attitude or behavior. But if the individual could demonstrate over a period of time before coming back into that relationship that truly and indeed they have changed, why not? It's in the interest of that child. If it is in the interest of that child, because it will be good for the two of them to bring up the child in the proper way. So
okay, I think that's quite a balance for you. What do you think, Elsie? You're raising your hand.
Yes, I want to counter that.
He wants to counter it.
I want to counter that because I'm going to be like Jugs and be honest. So in my circumstance, he took me to court for domestic violence, and it was the other way around.
Wow.
Yeah. So there was a whole big, we had to fill out some documents. We had another agency involved because of what he didn't realize is the things he did to me. I took pictures of. Only because of the way the relationship was. It was, it was very toxic.
Wow.
So I wasn't sure what I should do, and I didn't tell anybody. So there was no police reports. There was nothing like that. I kept it very hidden. I'm a Nigerian woman, so shame as well. You didn't want to tell people that what was going on. So after he's taken me to court for domestic violence, it's now become a big high-risk case. So what ended up happening was we all had to write statements of the most violent incidents that took place. He refused to do a certain course that he had to do. I think it was an anger management course for 26 weeks or something. He refused to do it. And then in the end, withdrew his application because obviously he couldn't provide evidence. But what it did was put me into a situation where even if we had reconciled and we had become friends, I could not let my daughter come and see him because of the allegations that were put forward.
Wow.
Anybody, what would happen is if I allowed that to take place, social services could actually get involved and take my child from me because of that. Now, for me, in that respect, in regards to what you said, I personally would feel somehow with allowing him, only because he has not made any real contact. He's made contact away from your, no. What I would like is, like you were saying, James, before, that Ayodeji, if they've shown some sort of remorse and there's a way that they are willing to change, and they have changed, and it's evident and it's reflected in what they're doing, like leading up, because there has to be a build-up of trust. What you've done is abandoned your child completely, and with no explanation. I have to deal with that. I have to now pick up the pieces when she's seeing other children. Oh, everyone has a dad and I don't have a dad.
Yeah.
You know, there was one time she was in nursery. She was 2 years old. She told the nursery staff that her dad had been eaten, or her dad is dead, and he's been eaten by an alligator. So they called me and saying, has there been an issue in the house? What happened? You know, she described it in detail. She now said he was in the river. He was by the river. The crocodile or alligator came and at his head, then his body, then his legs. So they came and sat me down like what, disturb me? But what I didn't realize is that there was things, even though she was young, there were things she saw.
Wow.
There was things, because when she got old enough to verbalize herself, she said certain things that made no sense to me, because how would you know? You weren't there, but she witnessed certain incidents that took place, and she described it as she remembered it. And that, to me, was quite traumatic, because you know, I'm a parent. I'm trying to shield you from anything that's bad, from anything that's wrong. For you to remember that potentially that your father did this to me, it's not a good thing. And for how he's behaved since then, and has shown no kind of effort to really be involved, I personally know I wouldn't allow it. Because like I said, I just need to see that, I don't want you to come in and disrupt her life. She's quite happy. She's really, really happy. And like Rose was saying, that void is there. I cannot fill it, no matter what I do, no matter what I do. I can't fill it. I cannot be a dad. I cannot be a dad. But one thing I will not do is also bring different men to substitute. Absolutely. It's not going to substitute it.
You're a good woman.
So I don't do. Well, we try. We're underground. A lot of us are underground.
We try, but they didn't appreciate it.
Because we're trying to raise our children to be better, right?
Absolutely. And Elsie, I think you're really right there, because again, you know, he might just be waving in and waving out again, and it causes instability. It takes a whole lot of work for a parent, a single parent, a mom or dad or whatever, to keep that consistency, maintain the routine and all of those things with the child, and give the child that stability. Then when you have somebody that has got no, like they just said, no remorse, no repentance of whatever they behave, don't apologize to me. Consider the impact it will have on the child. And again, children, photographic memory, I tell you, sometimes you're like, whoa, where did that come from? Again, it's about talking to the child, because what we try to do as single parents is to show that we don't want our children to kind of grow up to believe that toxic relationship is acceptable, that domestic violence in a relationship is acceptable, that it's okay for a man or a woman to treat you the way they want to be treated, the way they feel is appropriate to treat you, which is degrading, is acceptable. So it's that consistency. And I'm with Elsie on this. I will not want you back. Just stay where you are. When the child is grown up, becomes an adult, and decide they want to, that's their business. An informed decision herself. Absolutely. As far as I'm concerned, don't come knocking on my door to want to see your child, because there will be trouble.
What I don't want to do is invite that inconsistency.
Absolutely.
You've already been absent. For you to now come in, give it that hope, then you disappear again. Who has to pick up these
and it takes time to get that child to where she is. And when they come in, they destabilize that. Again, who's going to pick up the pieces? It's you. You know, because then they can be the issue of my dad doesn't love me, which can then go on to affect their relationship later in the future. You know, I'm not good enough for daddy to love me, and you know, and all of those kind of things.
I don't want her to have that where she feels, you know, she feels inadequate. Because like I said, she's already seen it with everybody around me. Oh, everyone has a dad. Everyone, even the ones who are single parents, they see their dads. She doesn't. And in her head, it's like it doesn't make sense. To the point she was saying to, you know, oh, he's dumb. And she doesn't really use bad. She came up with that. I knew it came from a place of hurt. Because why can't you just actually make an effort? You know, she's old enough to understand you can be there if you want to be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not going to be that one that's going to explain. I can't explain on behalf of her dad.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I can
true.
only just be as neutral and as balanced as possible, and just manage it accordingly. So you know,
I think you're doing well, and that's much more that we can say for a lot of women out there, to be honest.
No, because you will naturally become you naturally become selfish, and you want to spite the other person. And it's not about me. It's not about me.
And that's what a lot of people need to realize. Both the man and the woman need to realize it is not about you.
Exactly.
Yes, you're pained. Whatever the other person did to you is painful, but it is not about you this time around. Especially if kids weren't involved, you guys can do whatever to each other.
We'll be everyone be in and out of jail. We'll be fighting ourselves. There'll be court cases. It's okay. You have that liberty.
But these kids, they did not ask to be born, and we decided we're gonna have them, and we need to do everything in our power to make sure that they have a healthy life, healthy upbringing, healthy environment, for them to grow up to be stable human beings, not deranged ones because of the experiences that they went through.
Yeah.
So I am done with all of my questions and the area that I wanted us to look into. Does anyone have anything else to add at this point?
Okay, the points I wanted to make, I think it's been addressed, but I just want to emphasize, if it's going to be the interest that is served and it's going to be the interest of the child, before a child can know the interest of what is good or bad for him or her, there must be a certain age of adulthood, like 16 or 18, depends on the country. Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is that if a baby, somebody like 10-year-old, 12-year-old, or a teenager, but the baby in the middle, or son or daughter in the middle, should attain certain age to know that, okay, is this my own interest for my dad to call me or for my mom to call me if it's in the other way around? So when I'm talking about the interest that is served, for a child to know the interest, to be able to understand the interest and handle it objectively, that child must have attained certain age. So I just want to add that one to what the point everybody has made. At the end of the day, what we want is father and mother to be together, but sometimes it's just not possible. But if the party that absconded, God is repentant heart, want to come in, then let's listen to them. But they don't come in with a negative attitude. Because people can change, and some people can fake it. That, I can never do that, but they are liars. It is the adult that be able to know, see through, not the baby that just want the father to come back to his or her life. No, if I'm telling you about the interest that be served, that child must be must have attained certain age to know good from evil. Not that the emotional decision that, oh, my dad, I want to become my children, that all my friends at school, they have their dad coming to the parent evening. No, that's not enough. Because the dad can come in and fake it, I'm a good man now, blah, blah, blah. And after 3 or 4 months, the real man begin to show itself again. So, or the real woman begin to show itself again. So we have to be very careful. If I'm talking about interest, the child must have attained certain age. What I was thinking about was the child going to university, getting a degree, getting a good job, wanting to settle down, get married, and the father now suffers. That is the situation that I was thinking about when I mentioned the case of whose interest is served in this situation. So not somebody that is like 10 years, 11 years old.
Okay.
Do you guys agree with what he's saying, that a child has to be?
No, yes, I totally agree.
To determine,
down to the child's decision.
Otherwise, the parents should decide for the child. If the child is not at a matured age, the parents should take that decision of the interest that's going to be served. Because some people will fake it, they will tell you they have changed, but they have not changed. Some people.
But the problem with the parent, yes, the parent that lives with the child will be able to see through the other parent from 1,000 miles, can smell their nonsense from 1,000 miles. But if that parent then tries to step in to stop them from having access to that child because they know that this person hasn't changed, that may not always be possible because the other parent might want to put up a fight. So that's why we then end up in court.
Yeah, they will now recourse to the court of law, and the court of law will be able to, because we cannot go against what the law says, the court of law will be able to interpret the law, and I believe there's sufficient
Most of the time, the courts always go in favor of the absentee parents. That's because they don't have that one-to-one.
No way, really?
Yes.
Hang on.
No way. I better go look for my boys then.
Yeah, go on. Yeah. Go on. But
most of the time, the court of law.
Alan, you're going to Canada. This is UK.
So what I'm trying to say is that most of the time, the court of law rules in favor of the absentee parents that want that access, even though the mother or the father, whoever is with the child, the primary carer for the child, even though they can see that this person hasn't changed, the court of law doesn't necessarily see all of that. And God help you as the main carer of the child if you don't have evidence to prove your, I don't know, whatever it is you know about the other parent. If you don't have any evidence, then the court will just say, well, we're going to rule in favor of this person. He or she has the right to see the child. And that's where I think there's a problem.
But then also what we're assuming right now is the guy who's not in the picture or the woman who's not in the picture is the bad person. We're forgetting that the person with the child could be the one that's got the whole beef.
I like that.
That's one thing we're forgetting now. Yeah. So the good guy may want to come back. The good guy may want to come back, but the bad woman doesn't want him to have any, relationship with the son or daughter.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. But either way, the burden of proof lies with the one who wants to discredit the other one. And the court will always want to rule in favor of the one that's been away.
The court will rule based on evidence in front of them because.
But that's the thing. That's why I said earlier on that if you don't have proof to back up what you're saying.
Okay, good. Yeah. It's very easy to be judgmental.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult to know the truth because you don't know the heart of anybody. But what about if the mother, who the present parent who has been with the children, if she might even be the wicked one or he might have been the bad one? We don't know. So if the court, I think the best situation is that the parent absent or present should have access to their kids. But that access will now be categorized. It might be a supervised access. It might be a conditional access that the interest of the child will be safeguarded. Anyway, that's the one. The safeguard the interest of the child. Because it might have not even be the interest of the child for you to now keep the absent parent away permanently. If we come back and play certain role. But some people don't care. They want the father to, because they've said a lot of things that is negative or bad about the absent parent, that if they have access to the children, those kids secretly will come up and say, oh, mom or dad, so you are the bad one. It's not That's why the court is the best place to decide, because we can't say, okay, most of the cases they rule in favor of the absent father. Probably they see the evidence in front of them and say, you know what, you must have access to your children. So I think that's why I'm going to arrest my case now. Thanks so much.
Yes. So anything else? Any last words from anyone?
Yeah, I just want to say it's good to, at least finally hear women who actually want the kids to relate with their dad. They understand that it's the parents have got the beef. There's nothing, it's got nothing to do with the child. I really appreciate that, because in my own situation, it's just twisted. It's like, no, you don't have to see them. I can't even FaceTime. The easiest. Why don't you just get this iPad, FaceTime your dad? Something that easy. And one thing I've noticed is the men who want to see the kids are the one being deprived. The men that don't want to see the kids at all, they're the ones the women are chasing.
They're getting shocked in your face.
Come and see your kid. Come and see. You're not seeing your kid. But the guy that wants to see his kid, nah. So I don't understand this planet anymore.
Is that what you just described now is they're trying to show control. They're hungry for control. They're trying to control the other person. So this is it. They know that you want.
And it's about hurting the other person as well, isn't it? It's about hurting the other person, because whatever hurt they're feeling. Again, in certain relationship, it's good to learn to forgive in order for you to be able to move on. When you hold on to that bitterness for so long, you become so bitter that everything around you is bitter. It's about learning to forgive and love yourself. And I think today's society, quite a lot of us have this fear of being alone, and you wonder, why can we not be comfortable to be alone? You got to be alone. The relationship didn't work. Doesn't mean you're a bad person, it just means that particular one didn't work. The next one might be the one, but first of all, love yourself and learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
Not go on and do the same mistakes. Otherwise, we just have this skip repeat pattern, go in, come out, go in, come out, go in, come out, and it doesn't help. You know.
Elsie, any last words? We can hear you.
You're mute.
Elsie, you're mute.
Sorry. I do apologize. I didn't even realize it came up on the screen.
I was almost getting an interpreter.
Sign language.
Subtitles. No, I want to thank everyone for their opinions and their input. And yeah, Alan, just keep on fighting, because one thing I can't stand is when dads say, I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave it.
Oh, I'm too bothered.
No, see, but a lot of men are not like that. Most will just, I'm just going to hold out and wait. The child will find me. This whole nonsense.
My mind, it breaks my heart.
I actually do believe it makes such a difference when you can say to your child or your children, I fought for you. I've got evidence of me fighting for you. No matter what your mother has told me or told you. You know, you've made that conscious effort to be part of their lives. Keep on doing it.
Yeah.
It will. You will reap the rewards in the end.
Amen.
It's a difficult process, but I would rather have a father like you than the one that if I read you the text message, like the email messages, you would just laugh. You just think,
that's so sad.
But you know, I wish he would be more involved.
But sister, you've been doing it. You don't need him to get it done. You've
I know.
Been doing
well,
it.
I know this, but you know, it's not for my benefit. It's just so that let her know who he is now. That's it.
Yeah.
You have small.
Hey,
I love your attitude. I love your attitude about this.
All right, guys.
Because
my last word, Alan, you've been eating. My last word, Alan, you've been eating and drinking. Next time, if you don't share,
no,
I haven't. Find you.
I haven't been eating.
He's got something else.
Did you not notice? Did you not notice someone took away his mango and something?
I know the other one. They do this.
See that?
Elsie, you got eyes.
I'm observant. I'm very observant.
Literally, he's just eating. So I saw him pick up a glass and drink, and I'm thinking, this dude is really winding me up now. Let me say something.
Anyways, Alan, Elsie, James, and Rose, it has been a very lovely time.
Yes, it was. It's been.
Guys, you guys have been fun. I think I've laughed my sense out.
Me too.
Don't worry, lockdown will not lock our voices down.
Amen.
So thank you so much, guys, for coming on my platform today. So everyone out there, I hope you guys were able to learn one or two things from what we've discussed today. So if you're that parent out there that you're making life so difficult for your partner or your ex-partner, whatever they are, you need to rethink things. It's not about you. It's not about you at all. It's not about them as well. It's about the children or the child between you guys. Do what's best for the child. All right, guys. In the meantime, I'll see you guys next time. Leave comments, leave your comments and your suggestions, whatever, in the comment section. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. And don't forget also the bell notification so that you will get notifications of my new uploads. All right, guys, until next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.